So here, oh my god, my stupid game. All right, quick restart because the replay system is currently broken. So if you skip too much time, the game crashes. So we're gonna go back into it, but I'll talk while it loads up. So in that fight, you did one thing right and you did one thing wrong. What I really liked, and it's something that a lot of lower ranked supports don't do at all, or don't do as much, is play high ground. And I think you did a really good job that fight of like you knew that you could kind of throw your Afuda, your little healing things at the Farah all the way over there without having to TP to her, which is really, really, really smart. It's that's something that not a lot of support players do. Like if you're playing Kiriko, you have that TP. A lot of players will say, "Oh, I can just go right over there. I have to heal him, so I'm going to TP over there, and I'm putting myself in a bad position." But you did a great job of not doing that. So, why is it?
Yeah, I died from that before. From drafting and thinking I had a teleport, and like Gramatra
Mhm.
just killed me.
Yeah. All right. Let me just get this back up for you, and then we'll continue. Okay. And you can see okay? Just making sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. All right. Dope. All right. Let's get back into this.
Traveling ready for battle.
Dude, oh my god. This game's a travesty. If you didn't know. Just in case you didn't know.
So have you gotten GM this season?
I am GM this season, yes. Um I don't play a lot of comp. I I I I mostly I play on a lot of team like competitive teams, so I scrim a lot, I practice a lot like in custom games, but I don't play a lot of comp. If I do, I'm playing on my ult account with my friends. But mostly I just play on in scrims. But yes, I did hit GM. All right. Just to make sure, I'm just not gonna. We're just gonna watch it in 2 times speed to get it back to the where it was because I don't want this to
Traveling ready for battle.
again. We're not gonna make it do this. You only hope they'll ever fix bugs in this game. So how long you been playing Overwatch? Have you just started playing Overwatch 2 or did you play Overwatch 1?
I just started playing Overwatch 2. I was playing like a month, and then I took a long break.
Yep.
Like I only played last season,
Uh-huh.
part of last season.
Yeah, I have been in the Overwatch community for way much longer than I'd like. I've been playing since the day Overwatch 1 came out. So,
Ah, you remember like Mercy and all that?
yep, Mercy Res. Um
You prefer now more?
Absolutely. Yeah. That was something that I like just being able to go in and res your entire team. Like, what is that? You know? And at the time I when it shit when like I wouldn't really complain about it too much because when at the time I was like playing on Xbox and I was like, I was around Euro rank, so it wasn't really something crazy, but like in the pro scene it was like insane. Mercy was played every game.
I was in the
Um
pro league. Thought they like took it out before that.
no, because Overwatch League is like the official one, but they had tournaments for like years.
Oh,
Overwatch came out. Overwatch League started 2 years after Overwatch came out, so there was a lot of like tournaments that were run by not Blizzard. So, but yeah, I remember that. I remember McCree. I mean, or Cassidy used to be called McCree. Um, his like, you know how he like has that thing where if you press the right click, it shoots all the bullets out.
Yeah.
It's called the fan the hammer. So, it used to do the full damage of the regular bullet, so it would basically just one shot
Travel
people.
ready in battle.
Yeah, it was crazy. He used to be like the best character by far, and Hanzo had instead of having his like storm arrow, he had a scatter arrow where if you threw it on the ground, arrows would scatter everywhere. So,
Did they do the same amount of damage?
yeah, it was kind of like cheap because you would just try to, instead of trying to get it like the scatters to go through, you just try to aim it at somebody's feet, and if it aimed at somebody's feet and you hit them all, it would just one shot them. Just all, you know, common theme of this game, one shot abilities. Roadhog's hook used to just one shot everybody. All right, we're back into it. So, like I said here, this Pharah is super far away from you. The TP is there for you to do it, but you choose not to. And that's honestly like pretty high level thinking, like I would say. Like pretty high level thinking. A lot of supports would either walk down onto the point to try to reach her, or TP over there, instead of just playing on high ground like you did. So that's really high level, so props to you for that. I know I have friends in your rank that don't do that. So right here.
Where do you meet people at in my rank?
Well, all my friends from like school and stuff are just lower rank.
Oh, I play Overwatch?
Yeah. I've some of my friends from high school, like we all used to play Overwatch together, and I used to be way higher than they did, so they were. So we would just play. I would play on a different account. We play together. But yeah, I have a support player friend who is in a similar rank as you, and she would probably drop down or TP over there just because her mechanics and her game sets are awful.
So she's been playing as long as you?
She has, yes. Yeah, most of my friends have been playing as long as I have. 7 years. So it's been a while.
Crazy. Why don't you coach him?
I have definitely tried. It's just that she just doesn't get it. She doesn't pick it up. We joke about it all the time. She just doesn't pick it up. Okay. This right here, what I'm about to do, what I'm about to show you, this is this is what we were talking about before about the flank style. This is totally acceptable. Like this is what I talk about when I say like, you know, push your boundary and see what you can do with the character. And this is great for the first couple seconds. But what happens is I don't know if you notice here, but the McCree walks up here, the Cassidy, and you very much overstay your welcome. So, you know, if you're going to do this flank here, you want to, you know, get into public shots. As soon as someone looks at you and starts shooting you, that's when you turn around and TP to someone behind you. What happens here is you don't die, but something does happen. So I'll ask you that question. Do you know what happened? Did you see what happened there? And can I decipher what happened there? What you made yourself do?
Suzu?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, is that you made yourself use Suzu instead of just TP. So instead of getting the value and then TPing away, you overstayed your welcome. You didn't get any more value than you would have, and you forced yourself to use Suzu in the process. And you want to use Suzu. You know, the main point of Suzu is to nullify key abilities from the enemy team. So say Ashe hits a huge dynamite on your backline, you can use Suzu to protect everybody. Or someone's about to die to a Moira orb, you can Suzu them. Or McCree uses High Noon, or he uses his grenade on somebody, you can Suzu that. So instead of using it on yourself to try to get out, you could have saved it for something more important like that. And then what happens is, as the fight breaks out, I'm not saying this is your fault. This Ashe does die here, not really your fault. The D.Va, even though she is super far in, you can use your Suzu here to kind of, you know, jumpstart her to back up. If she sees that she's being Suzu'd, a lot of times she'll be like, okay, maybe I am too low, and maybe they'll back out. But it's just hypothetical. But in the main case, when the D.Va's playing high ground, you definitely want to keep your Suzu for more important things other than to save yourself. Suzu there. That was a solid Suzu. Kind of used it. The D.Va kind of feeds a little bit more. but you gave the diva the opportunity to escape, which is something that she didn't use. So that's totally on her and nothing on you. That was a great play.
Oh, I'm missing something. There can't hit anyone.
I mean, it comes in time, right? You're a new player. Projectile is significantly harder to hit than hit scan, just because of you have to think about travel time. You have to think about where they're moving. You have to try to predict their movements. So it's a lot harder to hit if you're playing something like Kiriko or Pharah or Genji than if you're playing something like Soldier 76. You're gonna as soon as you hit that button, the bullet's gonna get to where you want it. But with projectile, it's not. So you have to kind of learn more about you know, you know how the enemy team is gonna like maybe they'll strafe AD strafe to try to like stop you from hitting them. You have to think about that. It's definitely very difficult. So you get killed there. I mean, your team just loses the fight. Not really. Obviously, the mechanics can be improved, but I'm not seeing anything egregious from you here. So, especially for a low gold player, not seeing anything egregious here.
God, Suzu had travel time.
Yeah. So here, this is something I'm not even gonna try to press the back button if it's gonna do that again. So in that scenario, what you want to do is we'll go out top here. So we'll use my pen. This is a good opportunity to use my pen. So we'll go kind of up top here, and I'll bring my pen out. So in this scenario, you Kiriko, we're right here, and your diva and your rest of your team were right here. So I would say right here you're playing way too passive. What I would say here is what you want to do is I would TP to the diva, right? And I would immediately either back up to this area, or if the Ramatra is right here, you can definitely wall climb up here to this high ground. So the thing about Kiriko is that she has a lot of survivability, way more survivability than possibly any other support. Where she has 2 movement abilities. She has her wall climb and she has her TP. She has an invulnerability ability where she has her Suzu, and she has passive heals, where it starts building up after 1 second of no damage. So here, I'd want you to kind of take this aggression and TP right here, because you're, even though the Ramatra is right there, we'll switch this to red real quick to symbolize the Ramatra. So the Ramatra's right here in this scenario, and the diva's right there. It's okay to TP in because you can just back out. You can back out real quick, set up right here with your other support, give them some more support, and that Suzu won't have that travel time that you were talking about. Neither will your healing Afudas, which they're called. So instead of doing that, like I said, push yourself into situations where you might be a little bit uncomfortable. But if you put yourself into an uncomfortable position like that, it's gonna teach you, what could I have done differently there instead of playing back and not allowing myself to get better. If I come in here and I die, maybe I pushed too far in this way. Or if I come back here and my diva gets demexed, maybe I should have used Suzu a little bit quicker. So that's kind of how it goes. But you do win the fight, so. Tracer gets a good stagger on their Mercy. That was solid there. You gotta try to go up there, get a little bit of poke. This is totally fine right now. You've got the cart for natural cover. Back up on time. You don't overstay your welcome this time. This is great. Far kind of feeds, so it's not on you. I would definitely TP up to your diva there. Yeah, so this is right here, same exact situation as when you were up here. Instead of just turning left and TPing to your diva, you stay a little bit more than you should. You get low. You're forced to use Suzu, and then you TP. So in that position, just look to the left and take a TP. You definitely knew where the diva was because you turned around and TP'd right away. So jump
I
up
think
here,
I was
TP.
thinking of like him having his focus all on me, like while he had his ult going. I thought having him run all the way to me was like a good idea.
Absolutely. That's totally okay. Just don't you. That's you could do that while TPing to her. You don't have to use your Suzu. So if he walks up here to here, as soon as he starts hitting you, if you just TP away, if you think about it, he's right here. Your diva's up here. I mean, he's just in the middle of no man's land. I mean, so I would say that's totally okay. That's actually a really smart play. Is trying to forcing him into your backline into no man's land to get less value out of his ultimate. Perfect. Instead of using your Suzu, just TP up here, and you'll save your Suzu for when it's actually needed. But you had the exact right idea with doing that. Absolutely. Feel free. I feel free to stop me if you have any questions. I know I've been talking for a while. I got a big yapper.
Back off.
That was awesome. That was awesome right there.
Everyone has a plan until
You trusted your mechanics that you could 1v1 that Ash. What'd you say?
I didn't even notice Bear killed everybody. Well, 3 people.
Yeah. You trusted your mechanics there. With that Ash, you knew that you were gonna kill her, and that was the perfect scenario. She came up on you, and even though I'm a support player, I have the ability to kill her with the headshots, and that was perfect. That was great. Exactly what you want to do in that scenario.
You ever played Dafran, the streamer?
Did I ever play with Defran?
Yeah, the streamer.
No, not that high. I'm not that ISR. He's like top 20 players in the world. Usually am around the lower GM area, so I play with players like I'll lift off some guys like Emong. I don't know if you know Emong. I've played with a
Oh, I
bunch.
thought he was top 500. He's not.
Well, he is top 500, but he usually starts out pretty low and then builds his way up. So I play with him at like the beginning of seasons, and then he'll come up. Players like Flats is the same thing where he'll start low and then come up top. Players like Defran and Overwatch League players will start usually super high, but they'll start lower. So I played with some guy called Red Shell. He's like a Lucio player. Can't really think. I've played with some Overwatch League players at the beginning of seasons, but yeah, Kefri is usually someone that I play with a lot.
Wait, he's like that level?
He's like a Widow one trick, so like he either goes to rank 50 or whatever, or kind of like subsists in lower GM. It just depends on like what kind of day he's having. But yeah, usually he stays in that around that rank. Only the highlights you'll see him in the higher ranks,
Yeah, you think Dafran's gonna get Life Weaver to top 500?
I wouldn't doubt his ability to. I mean, if he got Torbjorn to top 500 or whatever, rank 1 or whatever when Torbjorn was bad in Overwatch 1. So I wouldn't doubt that he has the ability to do that. Especially since his mechanics are just so good. His aiming is just so good.
His peak right now is like GM3, I think.
Yeah, that's
Weaver.
insane. With just Life Weaver, like that's insane. Just goes to show how good he is. Here, usually I'd say high ground, but this is okay. You have your ult out, your Ram, your Matra is, using his Nemesis form up in front of you, so this is totally fine so far. Oh no, I pressed that by mistake. Okay, thank God. But overall, I mean, I keep repeating myself, but solid. Obviously the mechanics can improve, but pretty, good game sense for a low gold player. Definitely above average with the other things I've seen.
What's up?
Yep. This happens a lot. It's okay. So
I don't know why I pushed out that far.
yeah, and exactly, you got it right away. So, um, one thing that lower ranked players don't understand is like the importance of like natural cover. So, um, especially in 5v5 when there's one less tank. I mean, you've never played with two tanks before, right?
No.
Yeah, in Overwatch 1 there were two tanks. So there was a lot of help from the front line for the supports, right? So in Overwatch 1, if you're playing here, you have a monkey, like a Winston up here, and you also have a diva right here. So you have two different huge bodies with lots of, health to soak up damage and lots of abilities to prevent damage that could stop you from dying there. But now you only have Ramatra or whatever they're playing here. So natural cover is way more important. So assume the cart's back here again, and their enemy team is back here. You kind of take this big swing out here to the middle, which you immediately knew that you did. And what that does is it makes you take more damage, but it also forces you to use abilities to help yourself. That's what a lot of players happen, where they kind of put themselves into situations where they have to use abilities where they shouldn't. So here, you push yourself all the way out here. Your Moira's back here, and you're right here, and you take a lot of damage, and you force yourself to TP into a bad situation against your Moira, and then you die. So instead, what I'd have you play is if the cart's back here, you start right here at this corner where this is your best friend right here, this wall, this corner. You start weaving in and out, poking, weaving in and out. Once the cart gets to about maybe say a little bit before this, now we start rotating. So rotating, even I'm going to assume you know what rotating is, but I'm just going to give a little bit simple explanation. So rotating is where you adjust your position to respond to a change in the map. So they come up here, the cart's right here, your spot's right here. You're poking in and out like this. When the cart gets up here, now this spot's not safe. So now I'm rotating back to this corner. So now my spot's right here. I'm using this natural cover, keeping myself safe and getting poke at the same time. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So and also if you do that the way I said it, you won't have to use TP once to get out. Maybe you turn around and TP here to get back here. But you're not using your abilities to save yourself, and you're not putting yourself in a bad position to where you die there. But one of the things that just happened is that you immediately understood what happened.
That was interesting.
So that's a quick way to learn from your mistakes.
So wait, how would you rotate?
Okay, we'll go over it as many times as you want. It's really not that big of a deal. So we'll go top down here. So let me get my trusty pen out. We'll do pink. So let's say the cart is back here. So under this kind of like overhang. So the cart's back here.
Yeah.
I'm going to start right here as Kiriko. Maybe my tank is a little bit in front of me. Maybe I'll do T for tank. Maybe my tank's a little bit in front of me. Maybe one of my DPS is over here. Maybe the other DPS is over here. And my other support is right here. So this is the 5, right? And the other team is right over here. So my tank's in front of me. He's taking damage. I'm going to play behind this natural cover right here. This kind of corner. I'm going to play behind this corner. I'm going to peek in and out to get poke and keep myself alive. Because if I'm swinging out here, then I'm going to get killed. Or I'm going to be forced to use TP backwards and possibly die. If I start right here, I get this natural cover. As soon as the cart gets to where, and it's totally up to your discretion. People do it earlier. Some people who are more confident in their mechanics maybe do it a little bit later. When the cart gets to a distance of your own discretion, maybe it's right here, maybe it's up here, maybe it's a little bit before that. Now I'm saying I'm not safe here anymore. I need to now rotate to a position that is. So we start here. Another rotation position would be at this corner right here. Now I'm at this corner, right? And now I'm going to poke in and out here. You poke here. Another place you could go is back into this doorway. So now I'm poking from out this way because I'm Kiriko. I have my TP so I can get out. If you're playing something like Anna, you don't want to do that, right? Because you don't have a TP to get out, or Baptiste or something like that. If you're playing Kiriko, you have that ability to take this angle and get out. So I can go right here. I can wall climb up to the top here. I can go back here, or I can go over here. I mean, this is like in a weird place, so like that's just a possibility. But a rotation, in the simplest of terms, just to repeat myself, is changing the way you play in a response to the way that the enemy is playing. So, this a simple way I like to talk about rotations with teams that I coach when I go with a team is team rotations during a practice or whatever. So if we're scrimming at practice, so if we're playing offense here, there are 3 different rotations that we can do to attack point A. So the first rotation, or the first path, is going up here on the right. The second rotation, or the second path, is going in this little area underground into the building and going up through the middle. The third rotation is going around up the top here. So there's 3 different places that I can go to attack the point. On defense, there are a few different rotations we can do. So we can say you start out here, and the enemy team comes up this way. I can rotate backwards here. So now I'm rotating backwards. I'm moving myself in response to the enemy team. Say I'm playing up here, and they go the same way. I can rotate backwards here into this little area back here. So there's a I mean,
That other
obviously
place where I was at, you were saying there's like a different path I could take where I don't have to teleport.
Absolutely, yeah. So if I'm starting back here, right, and the cart's right here, instead of
Oh, okay.
waiting
So
too
you might
long and
just
then
run
TPing back, I can just walk backwards
Oh, yeah, okay.
to here. And I apologize if I'm making it if it's too complicated. If I'm not giving you a simple explanation.
Oh, yeah, I get it now.
Yeah. So you're kind of just walking backwards to this area, and now this is your new spot. Yeah. So a rotation is like a response, is like what you're gonna do when the enemy team does something, right? Where am I gonna go if the enemy team pushes you? So like, yeah, I'm playing right here. Cart's right here. I'm poking. Now, say this Reaper comes up here. Now he's right up here, and I'm right here. Oop, here's the Reaper. If I don't have, I can TP behind me, or I can just walk backwards and get to this place. So now you're safe here now. And then, when the cart comes up to here, and you're no longer safe, I can go back here, right? Or I can go over here, TP over here, or right here, or over here. There's a lot of different things you could go. It's just, wherever you think you can keep yourself safe, but also get value. Right? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And any questions on that? Any questions at all?
I've dealt with cynics before.
Oh, I don't think. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I get it. I think I get it.
Okay. Awesome. You go for the Suzu there, a little bit late, obviously, but you knew you had to Suzu yourself there. That's fine. And you guys win a couple fights. Obviously, I'm not going to care what your teammates are doing. This has nothing to, like, the teammates were making mistakes left and right. So that doesn't affect the way that you're, I mean, obviously it affects the way that you're playing, but it doesn't affect the way that, we're seeing that you're doing right things while they're doing wrong things. So, but overall, that was pretty solid. I mean, you're a new player. Mechanics come with time. If you're playing the game consistently, you'll get better and better. Considering that you're a new player, I didn't think you were. Like, looking at your thing before this, I'm like, all right, this guy, maybe he's been playing for a bit, and he hasn't got it yet. You know what I mean? He hasn't been able to improve yet. But
I used to be like an Ash meme before this. Like, had a lot of hours on Ash.
Yeah, yeah, and Ash and Kiriko have kind of similar ish DPS playstyles when you're dealing damage, where you're kind of like weaving in and out of natural cover and doing and poking and playing high
Yeah,
grounds.
they're always so open and like it's annoying because if it was Ash, I would just. I mean, I think I'll probably just kill all of them, like
Yeah.
from the positions I get
Yeah.
sometimes.
Yeah. And and trust me, you can kill all of them with Kiriko. This character is very good at doing damage.
Yeah, my aim is just bad. It was
Yeah, I
not
mean-
his scam.
I don't have the best aim either. I'm a tank player. I don't really need to aim.
Do you play Zarya? I think I.
Yeah, I play most of the tanks. I play all. I basically play. I enjoy playing. My favorite tanks are Diva, Roadhog, and Sigma. But I play all the tanks. So when I play on my team that I play for, I play all the tanks in our practices and our matches and stuff.
I heard one top 500. He said that Zarya is horrible. Is that true?
She's pretty bad. Yeah, she's pretty bad. She's probably, I would say, out of all the tanks, she's probably either tied for the worst or the worst. Just because she does damage, but she doesn't have any, like, what's called utility, where, like, you could think of, like, Baptiste's Immortality Lamp as, like, a utility, where it does something other than damage or heals, where it provides something. Hers just provides a bubble that just gives her more damage. So she doesn't really do much. If you want to do damage, you can just go Diva. Diva does a lot of damage, and she has a lot more. She has a movement ability. She has, a defensive ability with her defense matrix. So Zarya is just pretty bad because she doesn't really do much. Similar to like Roadhog. Roadhog is pretty bad right now because, if he's not one-shotting people, he's not doing much. That's usually how Roadhog goes. Roadhog's my favorite character. I've been playing him for 7 years. If you can't kill people, he's not doing anything. So it's just simple as that. So he's not killing people right now. He doesn't do a lot of damage, so he's pretty bad. But yeah, Zarya's pretty bad. You get trapped there, unfortunate.
Come here. I'm getting the objective.
Done playing around.
So it looks like here with the timer that you don't take the first point.
I'm back. Time to
You kind of you get full held. Assume.
Yeah.
group up with me.
Okay.
My gift to you.
Playing with your team, solid rotation so far. Your Reaper's pretty much feeding. Ooh. Okay, yeah, so here's a mistake that we make here. So right here you're playing right here, so you have that ability to escape, but the problem is that the tank has already left the fight. So your tank is already back here, leaving the fight. So now you're the first thing they see instead of the tank. So if I'm Ash up here, or I'm Roadhog, all I can see is you. So you're the only person that I'm going to shoot, right? So a lot of just be aware of where your tank is at all times. If he's not pushing in, if they're not pushing in, then it's not your cue to kind of try to take, it's called take space, where you kind of like, there's open space right here, and you want to, claim it for yourself. It's sort of like a push and pull game, where like I want to take this area for myself so they can't use it. So a tank would take space by, a monkey would jump in using his leap to jump in, and that would take some space for his team to allow them to push in. If the Zarya is back there behind you, you don't have anybody in front of you to kind of mitigate the amount of damage that's coming out, so you're gonna die here. What I will say is what you could do here is TP up here to the Sombra. This would be honestly a solid play, because the Sombra is invisible right now, so you can TP up. The Sombra is probably gonna hack the Junkrat, and then you guys can kill him. And now you have that 5v4 advantage. And then the tank can push in, because they're not going to get that spam on them in this doorway right here. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you want to. So it kind of depends on how aggressive you want to play as Kiriko. If you want to do a lot of flanks and get damage in, you absolutely can do that. If you want to play, behind your team and still get damage in, and focus more on kind of a damage and heal more than just damage, that's fine as well. But there's certain, rules you have to live by when you're doing that. So if you're playing behind your team, you need to make sure that you're behind the tank at all times. Otherwise, you're going to be getting the blunt of the damage on you.
The spring flows anew.
Attack the objective.
The breeze brings relief. Like a gentle rain.
Okay. So this guy swaps back to Farah. This is very inconvenient for you because it's hard for you to kind of heal this character because you need to play in a certain position and the Farah is constantly switching positions. So like
Yeah.
the Farah constantly gains height and goes up here, goes over here, goes up here. It's hard for a Kiriko to heal them because you're trying to do your own thing, right? So that's why a Mercy is instead of a Life Weaver would help here. So what I would say, and it sounds kind of backwards, possibly, but it's just what you're going to have to do, especially when you're playing in comp when there's different kind of things. You kind of just have to, unless the Farah is in your area to help, you can't really do anything to her. You can't force yourself to go away from your team to help the Farah. He needs to be in a position to where if he's playing Farah, that he needs to be in a position to where you can heal him. You shouldn't go out of your way to move positions to heal him. What I would say is that you probably want to go up here with the Zarya. Say the Zarya is right here before she dies. You want to go up here with the Zarya, help the Zarya out. And let the Farah be back here and get poked out or whatever. Maybe force her to switch. Because what happens is the Zarya is up here. You go around up here to help the Farah. And now you're up here, and the Farah's up here, and your Zarya is all in Life Weaver all the way over here by themselves. You guys are completely on different sides of the map. So, you're not helping them, they're not helping you, and you're kind of split. So that's why you're not really getting those kills, is because you guys are really split. So if you were playing with the Zarya and the Life Weaver, the Farah, you guys playing together and healing the Zarya would allow the Zarya to walk in a little bit more, and then the Farah might not take as much damage. So that's kind of like that, slippery slope kind of thing, where if you do this, this will happen. But like I said, your teammates aren't really doing their best to kind of stay alive. So I'm not really blaming you for that. Oh, it's a scary situation right now. Maybe not. Maybe he's friendly. No, he's not. He's not friendly. Ah, TP out of there! TP! Oh my god, that's crazy. You got out. Oh my god, that's awesome that you got out. Oh, you gotta take this here. Heal 2 people. They have no healers.
You said what?
I said you guys should definitely take this point here. I mean, obviously you don't, but you should definitely take. Unless this Junkrat kills like 3 people with this tire.
I don't think he. Oh wait, yeah, he did. He got one.
He killed Zarya. Yeah. You guys are all over the place right now. Sombra EMPs by himself and dies. And you get killed by the Junkrat spam. You gotta be careful of that.
Yeah.
It's a lot of Junkrats. So something that you'll know is that something to know is that a Junkrat in the lower ranks will spam in one direction. A Junkrat in higher ranks will spam in multiple directions. So a Junkrat who's in lower ranks will only just look this way and just spam here, right, and try to get a kill. A Junkrat in a higher rank will be on high ground. Shoot 1 pellet right this way, shoot 1 pellet this way, shoot 1 pellet maybe above it. And what that does is it's not a choreographed spam, so it's harder for you to dodge it.
Yeah.
Yeah, but if the Junkrat's just spamming this, you just gotta be careful and go up here or something like that, or go up here. So that is kind of, I always say that's kind of on you to be able to look out for that and not die to that, because that's something that's really simple to stay alive for. But it happens with everybody who starts playing the game, is that there's certain things that they have to look out for as time goes on.
Let's go.
Shall we do this together?
30 seconds.
We don't have much longer.
Life protects life.
All right, your positioning's fine so far. I like your use of this.
10 seconds
kind of wait. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah. Oh no. Yeah. Okay. So something pretty obvious happened there. Um, your
That
me- your mechanics do need a lot of work. So you kind of what I will say is that this will happen less and less as time goes on, but you spend way too much time trying to kill him. I would say at like the fourth kunai, if you're not hitting him, if you're just like I just can't hit this guy, switch to something else. Try to heal your teammates or something like that. You spend way too much time trying to kill him, and in the process, 2 of your teammates die, where you could be healing them instead. So, um, instead of forcing to try to get that kill, and you, this is exactly what we were talking about before, where you're kind of pushing your boundaries. You right there, you pushed your boundary, try to get the kill. It didn't work out, so now we learn from it, right? So you were like, I want to try to kill this guy. You push yourself, you use a lot of kunais, you don't get the kill, and your team gets punished. So now next time, instead of saying, maybe I'll use 4 kunais on him, and if I don't hit any of them, let me switch to healing, or maybe I'll switch to another target. So that's a perfect example of something like that, where you're gonna have to learn from those mistakes that you make, and everybody does it. Long road of learning from my mistakes from me. Everybody starts somewhere, so
yeah, you like go back and like see why I missed all those shots.
I can try. Hopefully, this doesn't fucking break by the game. But okay, didn't break it. Okay, all right, cool. It didn't break it. Awesome. Let's see it. And we'll go in a little bit slower pace. We'll go like 0.75 speed when it gets there, so we can kind of go over a little bit. Okay, so here you make a decision here. For step 1, you make a decision. All right, I want to go after this Moira. I alter to give my team some help with it. So let's see what happens. So we'll go 0.5.
Positioning. 10 seconds remaining.
He's flicking too much.
So there's 2 things that I'm seeing here. 2 things that I saw from there. One is, yes, you're definitely flicking too much. Projectile is very easy to just spam in front of them. So a lot of players, when someone's shooting at them, their instinct is to start AD spamming like this. So they'll start spamming A and D to make them harder to hit. The way to combat that is to just shoot in the middle of them. So instead of trying to hit them when they're going left and right, if you're just shooting in the middle of them, you're going to hit them most of the time. Right?
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll do a little bit like this. So let me just go right here. So I'll get my pen out. So say this is me. I'm shooting someone right now. So here's a nice little dude. So he's moving to the left and right. And he gets to this point and he gets to this point, right? So this is where he goes when he goes left, and this is where he goes when he goes right. If I'm shooting when he goes right, a lot of times he's gonna go back this way, and I'm not gonna hit him. If I shoot this way, he's gonna go this way and then go back, and I'm not gonna hit him. But if I shoot in the middle, so if I shoot this way, when he's going back and forth, the projectiles are almost guaranteed to hit some of the time, right? Instead of him going this way, back and forth, I'm going to shoot him most of the time. So if I'm shooting this way, he's going to go like this, and the AD spam is not going to work. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to shoot in front of him. The second thing that I saw that you did, and this is exactly what we talked about before when we were talking about you being up here on high ground and just not being able to aim with a projectile, is that a projectile has a travel time. It doesn't go out right away. So instead of, you have to lead the shot. So if I'm standing right here, and here's our lovely man again, and he's moving this way. So he starts here. Instead of shooting right here, where he's standing, I'm going to shoot maybe a little bit to the right of him, or maybe that might be too far. Maybe like right here, right? If he's moving left, so he's in the process right now of moving left, are moving right. I'm going to shoot to the right of him because he's going to walk into the bullet. If I start shooting, if he starts moving this way and I'm shooting this, so say he's now he's here. Oops. Hold on. So he starts here. He's moving this way. Now he's here. And I'm still shooting here. So I should be shooting here. I'm still shooting here. Now he's here. Now the bullet's going to go right into that wall instead of where he is. So with a hit scan, you can still shoot where he is. With a projectile, you're gonna have to try to lead it a little bit. You know, does that make sense?
Yeah.
But so the map is ending. So we'll try to go back one more time. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Okay, dope. It goes. I guess. Okay, cool. So we'll look at it one more time, and we'll go over it one more time. We're talking about the leading. We talked about the flicking. We'll talk about the leading now.
Let the Kitsune guide you.
So I'll go into 0.5 speed.
Positioning. 10 seconds.
So yeah, you're definitely flicking too much here. This is where you're flicking too much. Instead of when he's kind of so now he's walking right. You see that how that bullet went there? He's walking right. You did a good job leading there. See that bullet right there. You did a good job leading there. And then he was kind of moving a little bit. You were able to hit him twice there. So you see what I mean there? How a couple of those bullets went to the left of him because he was moving right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and that will happen a lot more when you're a little bit farther away. You were very close to him, so it was much easier for you to hit him. But say he's like over here and you're right here, it's gonna be way more easy to see that you have to lead. You know, especially if he's walking that way. So you have to lead more. You know. So, yeah, I think got that down, and then you die here, and you kind of lose the map. But I mean,
Team kill.
I don't see anything. I don't really see anything too bad from you. I mean, like you know, the mechanics obviously, like I said, they'll get better with time. Your game sense is very good for a gold player. I will say that already. You have, you know, especially when we were going over this VOD, looking at you in game and you talking to me in VOD, you know the answer a lot of times or most of the time, basically, to what I was asking. So I would say
We try to do like a live thing.
what?
So we try to do like a live coaching thing.
Like on what do you mean? Oh yeah, like during a game?
Yeah.
Yeah, we can do that.
The
Definitely.
it was, this. Like this is a clip. of That friend trying to get top 500.
Let me see.
The turrets. Survive. It's Hanun.
Oh fuck!
Oh, he's C9'd.
That's so stupid. 1 to 5.
Oh my god. That's hilarious.
Does that happen a lot? Like in your
That
game?
happens a lot. That happens a lot. It's just I mean, it's just like players, man. They they see something, they go over there. It happens a lot. It happens even like in like when you're playing a match. Like if I'm playing a match like with my team that we've played together for a while, it happens. You know, it's either miscommunication or somebody dies on the cart. You know. All right, let me stop.